29th of November 1947. 3 minutes, 2,000 years. On the 29th of November 1947, we sat in the gallery of the Grand Hall and listened to the announcement of the General Assembly of the United Nations. The national delegations sat in front of us in a half circle. A world map was on the wall. Behind the podium were Dr. Urania, the Brazilian President of the General Assembly, and Trigvelli, the UN General Secretary. Our patience and forbearance reached their breaking point. We needed 2/3 of the votes of the nations to attain the yearned victory. We were worried that some of the delegates would not keep their promise. Finally, the moment we had all been waiting for. In a few moments, maybe, all of our dreams would come true.
Those who are in favor will say yes, those who are against will say no. And the abstainers, always they know what to say.
We will start it now.
Afghanistan, no. Argentina, abstention. Australia, yes. Belgium, yes.
The Second World War had ended. 250,000 Jews in European refugee camps sought to immigrate to the land of Israel. However, standing between them and the Promised Land was the British Empire, whose government decided to continue to rule Palestine in accordance with the laws of the White Paper. Illegal immigration and settlement were the reaction of the Jewish population in Palestine. Most of the illegal immigration boats were caught as soon as they entered the territorial waters of the land of Israel, yet continued to arrive one after the other. After the fast of Yom Kippur 1947, during that one night, 11 settlements were established on the soil of the Negev. Jewish settlers in Palestine were quick to create accomplished facts on soil before outside commissions could start drawing maps otherwise. In January 1947, the clandestine organizations increased their activities, and the situation reached boiling point. 90,000 British soldiers, among them the paratroopers of the esteemed 6th Division, had difficulties imposing their authority over the 500,000 Jews living in the land of Israel. In February 1947, Britain asked the UN Secretary General to hold a special assembly on the matter of Palestine. Britain expressed that it could no longer maintain the mandate in the way it was originally formed.
Abstain. France, yes.
I call on the public,
And I hope that you will not have any interference on the voting on the debate. I am confident on the way you will behave in a so serious decision taken by this assembly, because I am decided not to allow anybody to interfere in our decisions.
The Special UN Assembly convened on the 29th of April 1947 in New York.
Yes.
Britain brought the case of Palestine to the UN and had no choice but to include the representatives of the Jewish population as well. Only after bitter debates was Yishuv representative Abba Hillel Silver allowed to deliver his speech in the little hall of the political committee.
Government and people of the United States have given support to the concept of the Jewish national home in Palestine ever since the termination of the First World War.
Huge rallies took place in Haifa and in Tel Aviv. The assembly did manage to produce one surprise: the speech of Andrei Gromyko, the Soviet Union's representative. The historical enemy of Zionism decided to support the right of the Jewish people to an independent country. The assembly discussions ended, as anticipated, with the nomination of a committee. 11 world representatives, members of the UN Special Committee, the UNSCOP Committee, landed in Lod. The Yishuv made good use of the opportunity, inundated the members of the committee with booklets and memorandums, and took them on tours all over the land of Israel, to Beit HaArava in the north of the Dead Sea, and Kibbutz Revivim in the Negev, to show them how they make the desert flourish, and to Jerusalem, here on a tour of the Hebrew University. When the committee arrived in Tel Aviv, the first Hebrew city, they found a metropolis with a dynamic rhythm of life, the cultural and economic center of the Jewish settlement. One of the members of the committee, Jorge Garcia Granados, stated, "Seeing the great gathering of people around the city center and nearby streets, I understood how important our arrival here was for the Jewish people. We had the power to determine their destiny."
Ukraine? Yes. South Africa? Yes. Soviet Union? Yes. United Kingdom? Abstain. United States? Yes.
Before the committee left for Zurich to formulate its decision, some of its members managed to see the refugees of the ship Exodus being transferred to ships that would deport them back to Europe. When the committee's plans were made public, it became clear that the committee had in plan the partition of Palestine and the declaration of two states, an Arab state and a Jewish state. Despite the small size of the proposed state, the Jewish population accepted the partition plan. The assembly convened during the last week of November. Nobody could guarantee the committee's recommendations would be accepted and that a Jewish state would be established. The Jews needed 2/3 of the nation's votes. It seemed like an impossible task. In this regard, the voting power of a country such as Haiti was equal to that of the United States. Even just before voting time, no one could say if the proposal would be approved. Greece, France, Yugoslavia, China, Haiti, Paraguay, and even Sweden did not announce their position, and, behind the scenes, the struggle continued until the very last moment. The 29th of November was a regular Saturday in Palestine. No ostensible tension was felt in the air. The theaters did not give any notice concerning cancellation of shows. The Eden Movie Theater announced that all tickets for the movie Blind Venus were sold out for that night. When evening came, people began gathering in Magen David Square, where a sound system was connected to the newspaper's newsroom.
Paraguay? Yes. Venezuela? Yes. Yemen? No. Yugoslavia? Abstain. 6, 10. The resolution of the DAC Committee for Palestine was adopted by 33 votes.
The vote lasted only 3 minutes, but seemed like 2,000 years, the time span of the diaspora. Generations of Jews have dreamed the dream that we now realize. The streets were filled with people. Like a spring finally being released, the masses burst into a great hora dance. This was one of the most beautiful hours in the history of Zionism. The nations of the world recognized the right of the Jewish people to return to the homeland they were expelled from 2,000 years ago. The circle is now closed.